Hello, I'm Tracy with MeatRx. I'm here today with another great success story. I have our friend Matt with us. Hi, Matt.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for coming to share your story. Can you begin by telling me what was life like, your health conditions, and the foods that you ate prior to coming to a meat-based diet?
Yeah, let's see here. My whole journey, I started this when I was 50 years old, and I felt really terrible. And my diet back then was a standard American diet, just like with anybody else, but with a little bit of healthiness to it. I try to up my fiber. I try to eat more vegetables and more fruits, and I try not to go too crazy on all the processed foods and everything. But it wasn't quite working out for me. But that was kind of my diet for many, many years. It's just, lean chickens and pork chops. I didn't eat very much red meat. Even though I loved it, I didn't eat a lot of red meat. I mainly just stuck with the old montage of low fat and kind of just, you know, focused on that and eating as many vegetables as I can, even though I don't like vegetables, but I did it anyway because that's what we were told to do. So, I did all that, and it just seems like over the years, I get a little bit, it just gets worse over the years, and you just chomp it up as aging. You just think you're just getting older. The aches and pains and all the other issues that you have. It just happens when you get older, and it wasn't until when I was around 50, and I wanted to make a change because I just didn't feel good. At this point, by the time I was 50, I have developed sleep apnea. I had diverticulitis. I had some skin issues. Lots of, had some IBS. I had some bloat. I had chondromalacia, osteoarthritis. I had hernias twice, and I had them repaired twice. And I was my weight was starting to creep up, and then it caused some sleep apnea. And I just felt like I was falling apart, and the quality of life was diminishing, right before my eyes. And I'm only 50 at this time, and I just said this, what am I going to be like at 65 when I retire? Am I going to be in a walker and, not be able to enjoy my retirement and go and do things that I want to do? So I just decided right when I was at 50 to do something about it. And I just started walking, and I bought a little one of these fitness trackers, little Fitbits, and started walking. And the goal is 10,000 steps, and I meet that goal, but then I keep trying to better my goal and keep doing more and more. Eventually, I got to like 35,000 steps, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it took all day to do that, just walking back and forth. My feet were aching.
Wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. 35,000 steps is a lot of steps.
It is a lot of steps. Yeah, it's like, but and the weight was starting to drop off, and I felt good about that. And then I was doing some yard work, and I was cutting a limb off the tree, and it fell down, and it landed on my foot, and it broke my toes. I'm like, so that stopped the walking. And what happened is after I stopped walking, I gained all that weight back plus a little bit more in just a couple of weeks. And that's what opened my eyes. Like, okay, I can be exercising, I can be doing all this, but there's something else that needs to happen that and I just kind of dove into the research and just discovered that you can't outrun a bad diet. You really can't do it, or outwalk it in this case. And so here I have this broken foot, and I can't do my steps. I'm putting the weight back on. I'm getting kind of depressed over it. And I just started doing some research. And then it came across that, I just stumbled across intermittent fasting. So I started to do some fasting with the standard American diet. Mm. And it did work, because I think it kind of helps you put you into like a caloric deficit in a way without even trying. You just have to get used to these hunger pains that you feel throughout the day. So I did the 16-8, and then eventually we tried the 20 and 4, and then eventually to 1 meal a day. And while I'm doing this, and in the very beginning, I was eating pizza and Subway sandwiches and all that for my 1 meal a day. And I thought to myself, I was like, is this the kind of nutrition I want to put in my body? For my 1 meal a day? Is this what I want to feed my body? So I started looking into more of a natural diet for human beings, and I kind of stumbled across paleo. So I tried that, my version of paleo, but my version had lots of leafy greens, because I'm thinking salads, right? They're healthy for you, and lots of fiber. And so I make these great big huge salads with lots of chicken breasts and everything, and I would just pound that down. And then I noticed that my stomach was just, it didn't feel good. After eating all those vegetables and all that food, it was just, it was so uncomfortable. And, the bloat and the gas and everything, it was just, the acid reflux, just the pain involved. And I was just thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way, and so I was just back into the research, back into YouTube. And then I stumbled across this podcast with ShawnBaker and Joe Rogan. And he was talking about how he's just eating meat. And I'm thinking, I like meat. I could do that, and don't care much for vegetables. I mean, vegetables are a pain in the butt. I mean, you got to clean them, you have to wash them, you have to dice them. And by the time you're all done preparing them, you're throwing half the vegetable away. You're just throwing money away. And not to mention, you're only digesting maybe half of it. So the other half is, you're only getting a quarter of what you bought, But so I told my wife, hey, I'm thinking about just giving up vegetables. And she said, okay. So I got the blessing to go ahead and just start eating meat. And so I started eating meat and, steaks. And I think I started off with ribeyes and ground beef. And it was amazing. Within a matter of days, I really started to feel better. I didn't have any keto flu or anything like that. I didn't have these headaches. I didn't have any of that stuff. My digestion was already out of whack. It was from one end of the spectrum to the other. It was just all over the place anyway. So from there, it was just an improvement. And I just started feeling better. And then I noticed as time went on that the pain in my knees and my hips and my shoulders and all that arthritis, it started going away a little bit. But this list just kind of leads to all the things that, I had wrong with me, not to mention before I, kind of went into my lifestyle change, I was going to doctors for sleep apnea and you have to wear that mask on your face, and then you end up getting these sores, and I didn't like that. It was terrible. And so I went to a dentist that has these dental appliances that you put in your mouth to move your lower jaw forward while you're sleeping. And that seemed to help a little bit, but getting used to it was not fun. It pushes your jaw out. And then you have to have another little appliance to put in your mouth in the morning to reset your jaw every morning. So that was just, that's a time in my life. I'm so glad I'm just talking about it, and it's like in my past right now. So yeah, sleep apnea. Of course, I told you earlier about the hernias. I had 2 hernia surgeries. Breaking my bones, my teeth were cracking. So obviously my teeth and bones were really weak. I had dry eyes from the sleep apnea, the machine, the air that blows by and it hits your eyes, and I had dry eyes and major brain fog. And I then at some point, because I wear glasses, you go to an optometrist to get your eyes checked, and they said, yeah, your pressure's a little high, and so we need to keep an eye on that. So the following visit, it was even higher. And this is, okay, you need to go see a glaucoma specialist. This is what you have. So went to a specialist. He confirmed it. I had glaucoma in my eye, and You're gonna have to take these drops for the rest of your life. You can't miss these drops. You miss these drops, you're gonna go blind. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, here's a medicine that I absolutely have to take for the rest of my life. So, here I am, glaucoma, falling apart, and getting, my bones are breaking, my teeth are breaking, and my bowels are all on fire. My heart's doing weird arrhythmias. I'm starting, because I smoked for many, many years, I had early signs of COPD in my lungs. Luckily my years of drinking beer, I'm glad I didn't hurt my liver in any way. But it's like I said, I've had a rough life. My diet I thought was healthy throughout my life because I always focused on vegetables and lean meats and stuff. But then here I am smoking, having cigarettes, and drinking a beer and everything like that, which I don't do anymore, by the way. So I quit that, and that's another thing I'm happy about, is quitting smoking after 30 something years. And that was a hard quit.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations on that. And
Thank you. Yeah.
I would have to say that everything you've listed there, you look like the picture of health now. So
I feel better.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% where my goal is as far as weight or anything like that, and body fat percentage, but I think I'm hanging right around the 20% body fat, which is in the high end of the normal range. And I'm okay for that for now. I'm just eating at maintenance right now, and I'm just focusing on some weight training and exercising and getting stronger, putting on some muscle. And maybe if I just eat at maintenance, I can slowly lose some more body fat, slowly gain some more lean mass at the same time, kind of recomp. So that's what I'm hoping for now. And I'm kind of past the point where I'm eating in a caloric deficit, and because that's not good long term either. It's good for short bouts, but you just have to get back to maintenance at some point. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, so before, I have all these issues, and I'm technically obese. I had my body fat tested, and I was at 40% body fat. And I'm 6'2" and 264 pounds, and I calculated I had about 118 pounds of body fat on me. 118 pounds. I mean, my gosh, that's a lot of fat just to carry around with you. No wonder I felt terrible. I didn't want to walk up and down stairs because it hurt my knees so bad. I just felt like they were going to collapse. And, I just took elevators everywhere I went. And so I just started losing a little bit at a time. The intermittent fasting definitely helped. And also when I switched over to the carnivore diet, then that was a home run. From there, I just felt so much better. The brain fog went away. I just felt stronger. The pain, the osteoarthritis pain went away. The digestive issues all went away. I haven't had a diverticulitis flare-up. I can't remember, unless I ate something bad that I shouldn't have eaten, which has happened. I fall off the horse just like everybody else does, but at least I get back on. I'll have these flare-ups from time to time, but they go away fairly quickly. So, and that's another thing about this, is that I just heal so much quicker. Here's a warning for some of these people that want to try the carnivore diet. But it's a good thing. You're going to feel so good that you're going to push yourself beyond your capabilities, and then you're going to hurt yourself. Because I was feeling so good at some point that I thought, you know what, I haven't ran or jogged in like 20 years. So I'm going to start running. And I was just running back and forth. I was running up and down stairs and everything. And then the next day, my knee hurts. And I come to find out I tore a meniscus in my knee. So I've been dealing with that for 2 years now. But I'm doing it without any medication. I'm doing it without any doctor intervention. I'm just, it bothers me from time to time, but I'm still able to do things, still able to do yard work and work out and all that stuff. I just don't run and jump anymore until I figure out what I want to do with that. And the other thing was my shoulder. I had shoulder surgery, and it's because I was a little too zealous as far as one arm push-ups and doing pull-ups and everything. And I think I messed some things up in there. So when the doctor went in there, he said, yeah, this is really bad. I did the best I could. And if this doesn't work, you definitely need your shoulder replaced. And so that was an eye opener. So what I'm saying is that your ligaments, your tendons, and your bones, they take a little longer to heal than just your muscles and your brain fog and all that stuff to go away. You start to feel good before you really are strong enough. So just take it easy at first. When you're going to exercise, do some low impact exercises and just kind of ease into it and let the rest of your body catch up, as far as your tendons and all that stuff, because that takes a little longer to heal than muscle does. So that's my little advice for someone when they want to go to this way of eating, is that, yeah, they're going to feel really good and they might get a little overzealous on their exercise strategies. Plus I'm not a young guy anymore. I'm in my 50s, so I still I got to take it easy a little bit. But yeah, it is amazing how much better I feel after, getting onto this way of eating and implementing some type of fasting, which I just learned is just cut out the snacks, just cut them out, just get rid of them. You don't need them. And you don't need to keep spiking your insulin, because insulin's job is to store fat. That's all it does. And so if you don't want to keep storing fat, just don't keep eating. So I'm just so grateful that now at this point, I don't have to take any more drugs. I had a whole medicine cabinet full of pills I was taking. I don't have to take anything anymore. I don't even have glaucoma anymore. I went back to the optometrist and okay, let me back up. So I've been doing some research and I found out that intermittent fasting helps lower intraocular pressures within the eye. And that's the idea, that you want to lower those pressures so it doesn't press down on an optic nerve and then you go blind. So since I was doing intermittent fasting, I wanted to see if that was true. And also I had just started the carnivore diet. So I stopped taking my medication for 6 weeks before my next appointment. And when I went in, I didn't say anything. They did the eye pressure test and they checked the optic nerves and they said, okay, everything looks okay. Your pressures are in the normal range. They're in the high point, but so they're still up there, but you're still in the normal range. Okay, so just keep taking those drops and all that stuff. And I said, well, by the way, I stopped taking those drops 6 weeks ago. And the doctor was kind of a little confused and said, why would you do that? And so I just want to see if I can cure it myself. And he says, you can't, this is something that you're gonna have to live with the rest of your life. You're gonna keep taking those drops unless you want to go blind. I was like, well, I want to try this. And he says, okay, I don't recommend it, but I can't really tell you what to do, but feel free to do it. But if you're not going to be treating yourself here with glaucoma, if you're not going to be doing this, then I'm not going to be seeing you anymore. You'll have to go back to your other optometrist. I said, okay, that's fine. I like the other doctor anyway. So I set up an appointment with the other one. And then about 6 or 7 weeks later, so I got in to see her and she did the test and the pressures were even lower than it was before. So she didn't want to see if I was out of the woods yet. So we scheduled for like another 6 weeks or so. And in that following visit, the pressures were even lower. And she says, you know what, I can also say that you do not have glaucoma anymore. So she was really amazed that I did this with just my lifestyle change, intermittent fasting and with eating a proper human diet, that you can cure yourself of glaucoma. And I don't have to take those drops the rest of my life. I don't have to take anything. I don't have to wear a sleep apnea machine. I don't have to wear that dental appliance. I don't have to take anti-inflammatories. I don't have to take, what are those protein pump inhibitors and all that stuff for your gut. And, oh my God, I am just so glad that hell that is behind me. You
Wow.
know, and I am just looking forward from here on out, you know, and I do fall off the wagon from time to time, but I just keep getting back on that horse because, you know, if you don't get on that horse, you're not going to get anywhere. You got to keep getting, you got to get back on. And the more you get back on, the less you fall off, you know. So you just got to keep going because it is a lifestyle change. It's not just a temporary diet you do, you know, and then you go back to your old ways and you're just going to end up where you were before. It's just a lifestyle change and you just, it's your new way of living. So I have a newfound excitement in my life that I just want to go out and do things. I want to do yard work. I want to wash and clean and detail the cars, and I want to go outside and stay in the sun. And that was another thing is, speaking of sun, is that I just don't get sunburn anymore. I could be out there for 8 hours with no shirt on and I just tan. It's so weird. I'll jump in the shower afterwards with hot water and it doesn't sting or anything. It's like, I don't even feel burnt. It's amazing at everything, little thing you look at in your life. You just like, there's an improvement. What other improvements? Oh, I used to be really ticklish. My wife would give me a nice little massage, you know, and she'd run her fingers around my sides. And I'm like, oh God, it's driving me nuts. I'm not even ticklish anymore, which is odd. And that got me thinking, it's like, maybe these plants, they just annoy you that much more. Whatever annoys you, they just makes you even more annoyed. So if you have allergies, like I had allergies, I had really bad allergies. I was taking Claritin and all that stuff, and that stuff was keeping me up all night long. I go outside and I do my yard work, and then I'm suffering for like 2 or 3 days later. Now I go out there and yeah, I might sneeze a couple of times, but then by the next day, I'm fine. I'm good to go. But I just think that all these plants that I was eating, it just made me hypersensitive. It made me sensitive to pain, made me sensitive to touch, made me sensitive to annoying drivers, made me sensitive to pollen and dust in the sun. It made me sensitive to all these things. And now I'm just feel so much more robust that these things, they just bounce off of me. It doesn't really bother me much. And the healing part too is just, you heal so much faster. I had my shoulder surgery and then within 4 days, they were taking out the stitches. 4 days. I was like, usually you have to wait like a week or longer before they take stitches out, but they said, you're healing so fast, I'm gonna yank these out right now. And so my shoulder is doing pretty good. You can feel it, I feel it, you know, but I'm doing exercises again, which feels good. I'm back in the gym, and because when I hurt my shoulder, I wasn't doing any of that stuff. And right before I hurt it, I was doing great. I was really starting to slim down and starting to look good in the mirror and everything. And then I hurt my shoulder, and then everything kind of went backwards and digressed a little bit. But now I'm kind of back on that path again. So it feels good. So I had a little setback, but I'm on my way. I hope I'm not jumping all over the place here because I'm just so excited at this way of eating and what it's done for me. I'm just so pleased.
It sounds amazing what you're sharing. It really, really does. You've healed so many different areas, your teeth, your eyes, so many things.
Yes. My skin feels better. My joints feel better. The teeth feel stronger. Bones feel stronger. I haven't broken a bone. I have not been sick, not once since I started this. I haven't had a single cold or anything.
Wow.
Wow. I just noticed that. I was like, I haven't called in sick and work in forever, except for, taking time out to heal from my surgery or something like that. That was about it. So I'm banking up on that sick leave.
Wow. That's incredible, Matt. Very incredible. I love hearing this kind of story. And you've had so much success. Meat heals. I was wondering if you could tell me, do you still eat 1 meal a day? What kind of food are you eating? And then do you include dairy? Do you include coffee? What kind of
I
things?
do coffee. I tried to quit coffee for like a day or two, and I thought, is it really worth it? Is coffee really that bad? So, I still drink coffee, but I just drink it black. I don't do bulletproof coffee or anything. I just drink it black. Um, and it's, I'll eat eggs, beef, and in the form of either steaks or ground beef or possibly like chuck roast or something like that. And I've been eating some lamb lately, the boneless leg of lamb. I've been roasting that only because of cost, because I've noticed the meat prices are going up. And, I wanted to try to stay within my budget. So I looked at, I was in Costco and I looked at their leg of lamb and I'm like, this is only $5.99 a pound. And it's from New Zealand, so it's got to be grass fed and all that. So sure, I'll start eating some lamb. The last time I was at Costco, I didn't see any. So I'll have to get there today and see if they have leg of lamb. Otherwise, I'll just go with some other, cheaper type of cuts, like the chuck roasts and all that, which are really delicious. It's just that it takes a little while to cook them. But I'll tell you, the power of ribeye is, and this is one thing I've noticed, because after you've been doing this for a while, then you start to see these changes, is that for a while there, I was eating some lean steaks just because of cost. Top sirloins are like $5 or $6.99 a pound. So I was eating a lot of top sirloins. And then we decided to go on a little vacation. So we took the trailer and went up camping up in the woods. And I thought I'd splurge. So I bought some prime ribeye steaks. And so I cooked those for like a whole week. And immediately after that, I felt really good. And I had some issues with my skin. I was starting to develop some dry skin areas again, but ever since then, it started going away. I'm like, that's it. I just got to up my fat a little bit. So I learned something. I was just eating a little too lean there for a while. So everyone's so unique. They just got to find their own, tolerance as far as how much fat they can have and protein. You got to kind of play it around. Everyone's kind of unique, not by much, but just by a little bit. I just had to up those fats a little bit by the way of eating those prime ribeyes. They were so delicious. But anyway, but yeah, back to what I was saying. So that's what I've been eating is, some ground beef, some lamb, eggs. I snack on pork rinds. I buy the big thing of pork rinds at Costco. It's the good stuff. It's not cooking any seed oils or anything like that. And that's pretty much it. One meal a day on the days that I work, and then on my days off, I might do two. So I try to mix it up a little bit. I don't want my body to always kind of get into a routine.
Yeah.
I always try to keep it guessing. Kind of like my philosophy when you're working out, you want to add more weight, add more reps, add more sets, whatever. You got to just keep your body guessing a little bit. So that's kind of how I do it with eating. I'll eat at different times of the day and eat different types of foods and different ratios, So, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just between one meal a day and two.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I love lamb as well. It's a great ruminant animal, and
Yeah, it is.
delicious.
And the lamb that we get, at least the one at Costco, is from New Zealand. So I know it's grass fed. I think it's grass fed and finished. I'm not really certain, but I know the quality is good.
Sounds awesome. Well, thank you, Matt, so much for coming to share your journey with us. And it sounds like you've had a great one over 4 years of carnivore, and it's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This has been a real pleasure to share my story with you and everyone else.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Tracy. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.